Is it working? Okay. Is it? I think, yes, we're live. This is all about curves. Ah! I hear you scream. Well, you know what? You don't have to scream, because what we're doing today is not about the all this other complicated stuff. It's about getting our heads around the curve itself. Now, I'm going to start off. If you've got any, this actually is intended for 15 to 18-year-olds, but it also applies. Everything we're doing is easy enough to follow for 7-year-olds and up. And then I'm going to do a separate video, which I'm going to post just before 10 o'clock, which will be suitable for the early years from 3 to 7, 3 to 6. It's a nice game that anyone can play. A 7-year-old can play it too. That it's all about curves. So it's how to demystify curves, how to become interested in curves, and how to, when you see curves, to actually to think about them. I'm always talking about shapes and notice the shapes in the world around you, but usually my shapes are straight edges. I'm quite keen on straight edges, apart from the bubbles, which are of course round. And so this time we're going to be looking at curves. So when you see curves in the world around you, it's just the beginning. It's just the first introduction to how to analyze curves and go, what kind of a surface is that? Is it a sharp curve? Is it a kind of a straightish curve, or is it a straight line? So we're going to see that. So what have we got? We've got this. Well, we're going to turn it around that way. So what we want to do now, remember that you don't have to use paper. I'm just using so much paper. You do have to use paper. Paper helps. You don't have to use fresh. Everything's falling down. I've set this camera up so I can talk to you, and now I've forgotten I need to move it to. I'm actually looking at a cobra. My visualizer looks like a cobra, so I've got this cobra in my face, ready to strike. Here we go. And that's a curve, but we're not going to look at that curve. We're going to reuse, we're going to optimize and use the paper we've got. I'm not going to use a fresh sheet of paper. And if you've got newspaper and any used paper, you can use that. You don't have to. And if you've got any markers, maybe strong markers, or even just pencil, you can use that. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get from just the first principles, let's say, I'm going to get some toilet paper, find all the uses for toilet paper we possibly can. And we're going to cut out a piece, use up that toilet paper. And then I'm going to, hopefully without breaking it, I'm going to make a hole in my, now no, kind of nowhere. I'll tell you what, let's fold it over and just make a little slot. Woo! Now you can actually make this look like a car. That'd be grand. Whoops. What I'm going to do is stick my pencil through that hole, and we're going to go for a drive. So we're going to start. Now, what we're going to do is this. Imagine this sheet of paper is flat. Oh my goodness, yes, it is flat. We can do that. And this is north. This is south. So this is, depending where you are in the world, imagine where north is and where south is. So for me, north goes up to the top of England. It goes up to the Arctic Circle. Well, actually, guess what? For everybody it does. And south goes down to the Antarctic, to where the penguins are. So we could put polar bears on here. Got polar bears up here. That's a polar bear. Sorry, guys. That actually looks more like a penguin. There you go. It's got 4 legs. And that looks more like a penguin. And there we have, okay, we've got penguin down here with and a beak. Okay, that's a penguin, and that, believe it or not, is a polar bear. It's eating a fish. Oh no, they both eat fish. That doesn't help. Polar bear. Now, what have we got to the east? Well, it depends where we are. If we're in Japan, east is America. If we're where I am, east is Japan. So it's I tell you what it is. It is, no matter what, it is where the sun rises. So this is where the sun comes up, and the west is where the sun goes down. And it goes to sleep. Zzz. I don't know if my Z's are the right way around. The sun goes to sleep, and the sun wakes up with a big smile. Okay, so we've got our car. So we're going to start somewhere, anywhere, and we're going to head north, straight north, but then we're going to go a little bit east. Now, what are we doing to the steering wheel at that point? And how much are we moving the steering wheel when it's moving just a little bit east all the time? Now, we get to the end of the road and then we realize, oh no, we're going the wrong way. Oh, let's take this other road down. Now, what do we do to the steering wheel here? How much are we moving the steering wheel when we go there and then, oh, okay, that's it. Let's go down this way because I want to go and look at what's going on here anyway. And then we get here and we think, okay, so we have had a look at what's on here. We've stopped right at the minimum point, and now we've decided we're going to head, we're still going east. What did we do with the steering wheel? What happened to the steering wheel at that point? What were we doing with the steering wheel there? What happened at that point? Where not quite necessarily that fast, but then, and here again, we're turning it the other way, and we're turning it really, really sharply. And now we're going to go up this way. So we're still turning the steering wheel, but just a little bit. Now we're going to keep going up and up, but we're turning it ever so slightly because we're moving ever so slightly east and ever so slightly. And now we're going to, oh, and at this point here, we weren't turning the steering wheel at all because we were pretty much going straight. We were heading in this direction, but we were pretty much going straight, so we weren't turning the steering wheel at all. And now here again, we get to a point where we're going to turn the steering wheel super, super sharp and then come down here, and we're pretty much at east where we perhaps want it to end up. So this is the sort of thing we want to look at when we're looking at curves. And surprisingly, it's not just the curves, it's also, well, let's look at some curves first. Let's look at some curves. Oh, I've made it, look at that. It's like a windy, windy road in a mountain. Now, can you see this mountain here? This is a mountain pass in South Africa. And can you see the windy, windy road? I think I'm going to enhance it with this pen here. The windy, windy road starts all the way down here. So imagine as I go along, imagine what you're doing with the steering wheel. Is black better or would red be better? Well, we're going to go with black, at least it's in contrast. Okay, we're turning it, and whoa, sharp turn there. And then we go, oh, a bit straight there. And then, we've got to do a sharp turn there. Then we're coming up here and a sharp turn there. And then, hairpin bend the other way. And then we're coming up here, woo, sharp, sharp turn the other way. And I'm not quite sure what happens there. I see two roads. I'm going to take this one, and then we're going to go around here and down there and round there and round there. And oh my goodness, look at all the changes in the road. And imagine driving up there going, and which way. And it's all about how much you're turning the steering wheel. That is the essence of what we're looking for. And I'm keeping the language simple because I'm a bear of a very simple man. I've got to keep, my language has to be simple for me to understand a concept. And we're just starting with the understanding of this concept, just starting with the understanding of curves. It's about just with curves, how much you are moving the steering wheel. And yes, it matters. which way you're moving your steering wheel. And in this, well, this actually does talk about, where is it? Oh, it's here. North, south, east, and west. This is the way this is referring to. But you'll also see this will be the y-axis and this will be the x-axis, and it's how you're moving around there. Now, what we're going to do, let's see, now we're going to look at some other curves. We're looking at these, whoopsie, you can't see it. Where is it? Ah, there we go. We've got more curves here. So these are very, we could imagine, even though we're going up in altitude with this, you can imagine you could relate it on a flat surface. So these are 3D curves, my goodness. But you can still see what's happening. You've got much, if you were driving around this donut, if you were driving all the way around it, can you imagine gravity was holding you on? It was some kind of amusement park ride. Then you could drive all the way around it or walk. Well, driving is good because then if you have to go past here, the steering wheel will be turned a lot tighter than it is when you go out here. And this one's lovely. This is like a, this is a shape I make with my bubbles. By the way, I can make this shape with bubbles. In fact, maybe I will make this shape. Thank you for reminding me. I'm going to make this shape with my bubbles, and you can actually see this shape now with bubbles. And you're looking at what you're doing with the steering wheel. So if you came all the way down from here and went straight over the other side, even though you're following a curve, you're not actually moving the steering wheel. Same if you're coming from the top here and down there and back up again. You're going in a straight line effectively. As far as the car's concerned, you're not moving the steering wheel. It's only when you actually change your path, even though it's doing interesting things, you're not moving the steering wheel. And that is part of the key to just a clue about what they call derivatives, which you don't have to know about until you're older, but those that do have to know about them, it's really important to understand that if you're not moving the steering wheel, then it's being aware of what you're doing with that steering wheel. We're going to stop with this, only the steering wheel. We're only talking about the steering wheel today. We're going to do another session to take it on to another level, and then we'll stick with the steering wheel for the younger ones. But look at this. We've got other types of curves. Other types of curves with pentagon, a square. So see what I've done with my pentagon? We can be walking around the outside of a square. So we're going to start here. We're facing this direction. Now we're going to walk around the square. Oh, I think we need to use a darker pen. Hold on. Is that better? Oh, that's much better. We start there and we're facing in that direction. So that is, so if we're going to go the same way, we're going to go north. I'm not sure if I've got that right. East, west, east, west. Sounds in a, oh dear. That's the, wait a minute, I've got to turn it around to get my head straight. That's, where am I? I'm in London, and that's Heathrow, so that's west, and that's Southend, so that's east, and that's south. Well, I know where north and south is, and yes, my north is the wrong way around. Okay. So yes, of course, it spells we, but then I get confused because the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, so then I turn it around again. So there you go. It spells we, the word we. So we're starting heading west. And now we want to change the steering wheel. We want to drive around the square. So we're going to change the steering wheel. We're going to do it sharply and then straighten it out again. So we've actually changed, just out of interest, while we're doing it, we've changed it by 90 degrees. Now we've changed it by another 90 degrees. Whoopsie, 90 degrees, which makes a total, by the way, it's just complete. While we're at it, we've changed it by 180 now. And then we're going straight. We're not changing the steering wheel. But here we're turning the steering wheel left again, quite severely at that point, and that's another 90 degrees. So by the way, that means we've now changed it by, that was 90, that should be there, 180, and then that should be here, which is 270 now. Whoopsie. And then to go back to where we started, we're going to change the steering wheel, turn the steering wheel again by another 90 degrees. And we now have changed by 360. And guess what? We're facing the same way that we started. So you've got angles everywhere. You've got that steering wheel turn. It doesn't have to be on curves. We are effectively, especially if we're driving a car, we can't, well, unless we stop and have a crane turn us around, we'll always be going along curves if we drive around a 2D shape. If we're driving around it, it's always going to be curves. And it's that can be, and that, yeah. Just a little point there. Let's make an octagon there. If we drive around an octagon, the more edges your 2D shape has, the closer your drive around becomes, the more it becomes like a circle. Here it's very clearly a square. There it's quite clearly pentagonal. But when you start driving around an octagon and more, your drive around becomes more and more and more and more like a circle. So that's a curve. So the curve, if you're driving around a circle, is your steering wheel changing? If you're driving around a circle, imagine now you're driving around a circle. Everyone, get your steering wheel, start driving. Okay, we're driving around a circle. Are we moving the steering wheel? Because we have to be constantly changing. And if it's a circle, a perfect circle, and the car is in perfect alignment, that's quite boring, really. We're not moving the steering wheel at all. So, and this is all about what we're doing with the steering wheel. So if we're going round in a circle, we're not moving the steering wheel. We do it first. I mean, if you're driving a car, you know, you're going to set the steering wheel, but then you're going to set it and you're going to enter your circle, and then it's not going to move anymore. It's just going to go round and round and round and round, and there's no change in what you're doing in the steering wheel. So let's play. Let's get our car. And the first thing we're going to do is, look, we're going to get our car. Now, I hope if you haven't got a car, that's okay. You can work out about in the room, can decide what part of the room is north. We can make these colors as well for younger learners. I'm going to do that in a minute anyway for the younger learners, but we can make the north can be yellow, south can be orange. Actually, we'll have the east sets in the west. We'll have the west as orange because that's sunset, and we'll have the east as blue because it's nice and bright in the mornings, maybe. And we'll have the south as dark blue because it's ice. Maybe we should have a different color. That's just silly. Have the south as green because it is. There you go. And so you could, if the compass points can be confusing, you can have a key. So north is yellow, you know, just make them colors. Okay, and now we can do it in the room. We can move around the room and imagine you're driving and actually move the steering wheel. Or you can get a toy car if you've got one, and I don't, so I'm literally, you can make a toy car, make it out of a bit of cardboard, and now everybody get your toy car and start driving and think about how much you're moving the steering wheel. Whoopsie, can't see what I'm doing. There you go. And we use the dark pen so that you can see. Here we go. So we're going to, first of all, we're kind of going straight. And then we're kind of going a little bit slightly, ever so slightly curved, and then whee, we're turning the steering wheel far to the right, to the right, to the right, and then down. And now we're going to turn, let me get the curve right, almost down to the, whoopsie, there's my car, I've lost my car went flying. There's my car. So we're going down, whee, down under, and then all the way up, way, way, way back up to the top again. And make sure I've got everything on there. That's about it. And that is that particular curve. And you know what? Now you can make any curve you want. So all I want you to do is think about what you're doing with the steering wheel, how far, whether you're going left or right, and how far you're going, right or left. And you don't have to know it's right or left, if you, depending how old you are. What you do, my brain just thought of something and then it's gone again. Yeah, you can also think about the north, south, east, west. You can drive around the room. Again, I'm going north. Wait a minute, I want to go a little bit east, and I want to go more east. I want to go further east, and way, look, I'm going south now. And thinking about what direction you're going in as well. Always bearing in mind how much you're moving the steering wheel and what direction you're moving it in. Right, now we are, I would really love you to please subscribe to our YouTube channel called Maths Toys. And in Maths Toys, there are activities to do. The ones that are up so far are making tangrams, it's activities, cutting things out of paper, it's making things out of scrap, it's all reusing. Yes, I've printed this out so I can show you, but at the same time I'm reusing it. And all of this, you don't have to print this out. And you can also download these resources onto a phone. So you can have it on a phone, and you don't even have to be able to look at the internet. And on our YouTube channel, Maths Toys, and then the Bubbly Maths YouTube channel has all these videos that I'm doing live like this. And on the Maths Toys ones, they're a bit easier to follow, because I'm not doing a lot of the chatting with, it's not live chat. It's like, this is what we're doing, let's do it, and these are the ideas you can do with it, and that's it. So they're all 3 to 5 minutes, so they're really easy to follow. And then there's also the AIMSEC Facebook page as well. Go to that, because that's got ideas which we also share on the Bubbly Maths page, which is the Making Maths Fun for Kids of All Ages is part of the Bubbly Maths program. And the AIMSEC, every single day there's a little activity for you to do to get engaged in maths, and then to have a bit of fun with maths. And I know there's something else, but it's not coming to me, so I'm not going to worry about it. Thank you for joining, and we'll see. Oh yes, well, yes, what we're doing, 9 o'clock tonight. Yes, no, 8 o'clock London time tonight. And then at 10 o'clock, I'm going to post something for early learners, specifically talking to early years, 4, 5, 6-year-olds, that they can just go ahead and do. And it'll be same as this, driving, but it'll be something they can actually watch and just play along with it. And tonight, I haven't decided what I'm doing tonight, but at 8 o'clock tonight, I'll be on talking about what I'm doing tomorrow. And I look forward to seeing you there. Thank you. Bye.